Good day, everyone. Today we'll be focusing on a concept, variable versus absorption costing. It has to do with Chapter 7 in Drury, and it goes about the costing of inventory and how we're actually going to go about to make different types of acceptable costing and what choices you have to make and how that actually affects your income at the end of the day. So it's variable versus absorption costing. Now you have different choices, none of them wrong, none of them right. It's just a different way to look at stock. The first one we're going to look at is absorption costing. The product costs are capitalized, sent to the balance sheet as stock. Period costs are expensed. And our variable costing, variable product and period costs are capitalized, fixed product and period costs are expensed. Throughput costing, the only direct materials are capitalized, all other costs are expensed. Now, if we actually discuss that in terms of the normal format of an income statement, nothing really changes. Your income remains your income. After that, you get your cost of sales. Cost of sales, what is inside cost of sales is actually relevant to this chapter. What we're looking at is what is the value of our stock. Now, on the variable costing side, we're only taking the variable direct costs and we're actually making that our cost of sales. So when you look deeper into cost of sales, what is it made up of? It's beginning stock or inventory plus purchases or production minus closing stock. So the value of your opening and your closing stock is actually quite relevant to the answer you get as your gross profit, because that will be deducted as cost of sales. So when you choose either one of these inventory costing systems, you are going to have a different value depending if you have stock or not. Do you remember back in the beginning of management accounting, we were discussing the fact that management accounting goes about how do I value my stock? Now this is exactly that chapter. How am I going to value my stock? Am I going to pull some of the overhead costs that's clearly directly linked to manufacturing in on the value of stock? So what I'm saying is, if I don't sell that stock in this period, am I actually going to put it back into my balance sheet and keep it there until it is sold? Or am I just going to leave out that overhead indirect manufacturing cost as a period costs, which means that it's at the bottom of your income statement with your overhead costs and it's being expensed as you actually get the invoice. So am I linking it with stock or am I not? And this is basically the choice I have to make. None of them incorrect, just different ways of looking at the value of stock. If we go to the next slide, we have to compare them. So variable costing, just to confirm, is a method of inventory costing in which only variable manufacturing costs are included as inventoriable costs. Absorption costing is a method of inventory costing in which all variable manufacturing costs and all fixed manufacturing costs are included as inventoriable costs. The main issue between the variable costing and absorption costing is the proper timing of the release of fixed manufacturing costs as costs of the period. At the time of incurrence or at the time the finished units to which the fixed overhead relates are sold. That would be absorption costing. So going back to what we just discussed, in your income statement, your fixed overhead manufacturing costs are either going to be under the cost of sales or part of the cost of sales. And that's what's going to determine where the profit lies. So if I have huge amounts of stocks left over, this value will be shifted into the balance sheet. It doesn't mean it's hidden forever. It means as soon as that stock is sold, it comes back into my income statement and it gets expensed. So it's almost like a delay that you are causing for that expense. It's not done as a period cost as it happens. It actually is only put in to the income statement when your stock is sold. So that's the basics of this concept. What's the difference going to be? Operating income will differ between absorption and variable costing. The amount of the difference represents the amount of fixed product costs capitalized as inventory under absorption costing and expensed as a period costs under variable costing. Variable costing does not include all direct costs as inventoriable costs. Only variable direct manufacturing costs are included. So automatically, that would mean that any marketing or administrative variable cost is not included as inventoriable. In other words, your pieces of stock cannot take in